Hello, welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, we are going to be installing and using OpenVAS. We are going to download and install the scanner, complete initial configuration, access the web interface, and create our first vulnerability scan. This is hands-on vulnerability assessment. Let's dive in. Before we start, make sure you have your Kali Linux running and you have access to the internet. And before we proceed into the installation, I would like to explain what we are doing. We want to install OpenVAS, and OpenVAS is a powerful open source vulnerability scanner with over 50,000 vulnerability tests. We are going to install it on Kali Linux, configure it, and scan our Metasploitable 2 virtual machine to find real vulnerabilities. If you're yet to set up Metasploitable 2 virtual machine, try to check one of my previous videos where I explained that. Also, in the previous lesson, I explained vulnerability scanning concepts, including OpenVAS as a vulnerability scanner. Checking that out will give you more understanding about this lesson too. Now let's proceed to install. But before we install, we want to confirm if OpenVAS is already installed inside our Kali. And to do that, you can see that I open my terminal, and here you're going to type gvm check setup and you run it. And here you can see command gvm check setup not found, but can be installed with sudo apt install gvm. Now that it looks as though we do not have that installed, so what we can do is to quit this by using Ctrl+C, then run sudo apt update. This would update our machine. So we input our password and then we wait for our machine to. While that is installing, you might be wondering, what is GVM? GVM stands for Greenbone Vulnerability Manager, which is the framework that includes OpenVAS. And the installation can take several minutes because it will first download the scanner and all its components. So you have to be patient with that. At the moment, we are still updating our machine. After that is done, we are going to run the command to install our OpenVAS. Now let's proceed to do the initial setup for OpenVAS. To do that, you will run sudo apt install gvm then -y. Let's proceed to create the database, download vulnerability feeds, and generate certificates. This is part of the initial setup too. So to do that, you're going to run sudo then gvm -setup, and this might take a few minutes because it is the most time consuming step. So you run it. So as I said, it can take up to like 20 to 30 minutes or even longer depending on your internet speed and system performance. And what is happening right now? OpenVAS is downloading over 50,000 vulnerability definitions from the Greenbone security feed. It is creating a PostgreSQL database to store scan results. It is as well generating SSL certificates for secure web access, and it is creating the default admin user. So you're going to see a lot of output scrolling by, and this is normal. You should also watch for any error messages, but mostly just let it run. At the end of it, you're going to see a randomly generated password for the admin user, and this is critical. So what we'll do is that we'll copy it immediately. Once we get there, you'll see that. So let's wait for the initial setup to be done. Now our initial setup is done, and if you check this, you can see user created with password. So this is our password. So we are going to copy this password and save it somewhere. I copy the password, then I can open a note and add the password there. So now that I've saved my password, the next thing I want to do is to start the OpenVAS services. But if your installation was not successful and you are probably running into an error, what you just need to do is to run the command again, sudo gvm setup, and see if the error is rectified. So let's proceed to start our OpenVAS services. So we are going to run sudo gvm start, and we input the password. And now you can see that that is coming up. So what is happening here is that that command is launching all the necessary components. That is the scanner engine, the manager service, and the web interface. You just need to give it like 30 seconds and it is done. And now you can see that that is up. And now it's redirecting us to the web interface. So you're going to click on advanced. Here you are seeing this screen. Then you click on accept risk and continue. Now our OpenVAS web interface is up. You can also try to verify what exactly is running by running sudo gvm check setup, and you run it. You can see that everything is showing okay. So if you look here as well, you can see test completeness and readiness of gvm. And at the end of it, you can see it seems like your gvm 25.04.0 installation is okay. So if you're seeing any errors here, the most common issue is that the feed isn't fully synced. So what you can do at that point is to run sudo gvm-feed-update. And once you run that, that means you are starting the services. So let's go back to our web interface and now let's log in. To log in, we're going to type in admin as the username and the password we copied earlier. We can paste the password here and click on sign in. So you can save the password. Now we have our OpenVAS dashboard. If you look here, you can see scans, and this section shows your vulnerability scans. Also, if you come to assets here, assets displays discovered hosts and vulnerabilities. And for security information here, this contains vulnerability information and the CVE database. Configuration here manages scan settings and targets. So in summary, the dashboard shows overview statistics, and currently we can see that everything is showing 0 because we haven't scanned anything yet. A bit complex at first, but we'll focus on the essentials, that is creating a target and running a scan for now. Now let's prepare our target system. To do that, we are going to come back to our VirtualBox, then launch our Metasploitable tool. You click on it and then you click start here. That is coming up. If you do not have Metasploitable 2 installed, you can check the video where I explained how to install it step by step. And to maximize things, I can come to view here, then come to scaled mode. And here I can try to scale this so that it can be a bit bigger. Now let me log in into my Metasploitable. To log in, you're going to type msfadmin as the username and the same as password, msfadmin. And now we are in. So before we proceed, let us run the if config to check the IP address. And here we can see that the IP address is 192.168.112.3. So let's come back inside Kali here to check for our IP address too. So let's clear this. So we type if config and we run it. And if you look here, you can see 10.0.2.15, but the other one is having 192 dot something else. That means they are both not on the same network. So what we need to do is to close our Kali, but before we do that, let's save this. We can call it OpenVAS password, but we already have it saved already within our browser, so we shouldn't have an issue, but we can still save it here. And after that, let us close our Kali. What we want to do is that we want to put Kali and Metasploitable on host-only adapter. So I will quit this, then I'll click OK. Then I'll come to my Kali again, come to settings and come to network. Then come here, I'll change the NAT to host only adapter. You can see the adapter name here. Then I'll click OK. Then after that, I'll restart my Kali. Do not forget that my Metasploitable is already on host only adapter. That's why I didn't change that. And the caveat is that they must both be having the same adapter name. So you must select the same adapter name for both Kali and Metasploitable. Let's continue. Kali is open now, so I will enter the username and the password, and I'll open my terminal again because I want to restart my OpenVAS services. Then after that, I'll type sudo gvm-start. I'll input the password. You can see, please wait for the GVM services to start. Now you can see our GVM services starting, so it has started now. You can either wait for the browser to be open automatically or you copy the link, but now our browser is opening. So it's loading the web interface right now. So since we have the credentials saved, we just need to click on sign in, and now we are back here. So inside our Kali, we can come back here to confirm our IP address by typing if config. And after we are done that, you can see that we are having 192.168.112.4. And if you come back to our Metasploit, you can see that this is having 192.168.112.3. So that means that they are both on the same network now. If you want to be sure if they are connected, you can try to ping Kali from here by typing ping, then 192.168.112.4. And you can see that we are getting responses. So that means they are both connected. So I can use Ctrl+C to stop it. And if you do the same inside Kali as well, you get the same response because they are connected. Now that we know that they are both on the same network and are connected, let's now try to scan a target. So we can come back to our OpenVAS here, and inside OpenVAS, we are going to define a target before we scan. So to do that, you're going to click on configuration here, and then come to target, and here you can see no targets available. Now that you are here, you can come here to this icon that looks like a rectangle with a plus here. So click on it, and here you can define your new target. So you can name this metasploitable. We can add to it, metasploitable 2. In case you have any comments, you can add it here. I can say scanning metasploitable 2. Then here at the host section, we are going to add the IP address for metasploitable here. And that is 192.168.112.3. You can leave the port list as default. Literally, the rest can just be the way they are at the moment. So click on the save button to save. And now you can see that we have a new target here. And once you're done with everything, you come here and then you type sudo gvm stop. And the moment you run this, you're going to stop OpenVAS automatically. So that's all for this lesson. Also, do not forget to like, share, and comment. Thank you so much and see you in the next lesson.